Social media. So what is social media? We define it as the exchange of user-generated content through online communities and networks. Although there are many forms of social media such as BitTorrent and Twitter, we are going to focus on the social network subset. While Facebook is currently the most popular social network, it's important to look beyond that to see how many social networks have evolved over time along with current trends and how they will affect the future of social media. So let's look a little into the history of social media. The invention of the internet allowed the creation of social media, starting with email and online discussion forums like Usenet. The first social network was 6 Degrees. In 6 Degrees, users filled out a profile and listed their friends. It aimed to prove that everyone was connected by no more than 6 mutual friends. It was the first example of a social media website that attempted to base itself around the user's social circle. This has been copied off by many of its more successful competitors. The first social network to gain mainstream fame was Friendster. Friendster was conceived by programmer Jonathan Abrams in 2002. Friendster was wildly popular with a peak of 115 million users. It was even offered to be bought by Google for $30 million in 2003. The basic idea behind Friendster was a user profile where they could share their interests and likes. They could add friends, chat with them, and comment on their profiles. However, the general focus stayed on the profile. There wasn't an emphasis on communication and knowing what your friends were up to, but rather creating a static profile for yourself on the site. There was no way beyond a friend's profile to interact with people who were not your friends. Communities were strung together by mutual friends, and when one of them quit Friendster, their mutual friends would lose contact. This led to isolated communities that couldn't interact with each other and reduced the incentive to stay on Friendster once your friends started leaving. In 2003, MySpace was founded and quickly replaced Friendster as a leading social network. MySpace was a place where people could go beyond their profiles and form communities with people they did not know in real life through the site's focus on profiles for entertainment icons such as bands or famous personalities. This allowed for longer-lasting and less isolated communities that kept users around and powered MySpace to popularity. The focus on music and lifestyle profiles fit in with MySpace's customization features that appealed to the teenagers who formed the core of MySpace's audience until they left Facebook. Facebook was founded in February 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg. While initially popular among college students, Facebook found success once the general population became disillusioned with MySpace. Users began to tire of how much MySpace was an eyesore. Through user profile customization and large colorful advertisements, MySpace became a cluttered mess that was too hard to understand. Facebook offered a clean alternative where people could interact with their friends in a simple and understandable way. Facebook is currently the most popular social network for people to interact with their social circles. However, more niche networks have gained popularity to cater to the long tail of social network users. LinkedIn is the largest social media network designed for a professional community. Launched in May 2003 by Reid Hoffman, it has now reached over 230 million users in more than 200 countries. It enables the users to create a profile and form connections with other professionals and peers in their field or company. At the same time, it lets users to actively look for jobs and research companies, advertise their expertise, and read about other work-related content. Compared to other social networks, this system was designed primarily for people in a professional context. The success and outcome of LinkedIn has legitimized social networks to professionals as something more than just a casual socialization tool. LinkedIn shows that social networks can be used for more than just entertainment. They can be professional uses of the social networks as well. An example is GitHub, a social network which allows for collaborative computer programming. People can create, download, edit, and discuss programs. It allows a scale of collaboration that would be impossible without utilizing social networks. GitHub provides an ease-of-use service by allowing quick communication between developers and users. Projects like the Linux kernel are partially available on GitHub, allowing community input to go directly to Linux creator Linus Torvalds. GitHub changes social networks from a socialization tool into a productivity network. Social networking is becoming more and more integrated into our everyday lives. However, there are a growing number of concerns as social networks expand. Recently, the privacy of Facebook users has been jeopardized as it has been revealed that the NSA has been using the site to gather information on U.S. citizens. In addition, there have been many complaints of the newly implemented sponsored pages, which are filling social networks with more and more advertisements. Users may decide to move on from Facebook, so a question remains: what will the next big social network look like? We think that the protection from the NSA and advertisers will be the defining feature users want from social networks. Facebook will not want to lose its users, and if it needs to, it may adapt to increase privacy. But after the NSA leaks, it could be a possibility that users will never trust it, and users may move on to other social networks that don't seem compromised by the government. However, on the other side, Facebook's ease of use, affection, and popularity could outweigh the lack of privacy to the users. But the true answer is that the future of social media depends on the people. From Friendster to MySpace to Facebook, people and their needs have driven the evolution of social media. We can only predict what will happen as time continues to run its course.